Hi everybody, Derek Pollacchi here, back again, this time for a Sul Ross State University State of the Athletics, if you will, sitting down with Sul Ross State University Athletic Director, Bobby Mesker. Coach, welcome.
Appreciate it. I appreciate being here. Before we get started too far, I want to let you know that this week is SID Appreciation Week, so I want to appreciate you and Glenn, everything you guys do, and of course our SID and Travis Hendricks, and we appreciate everything that you guys do for us.
Well, thank you, and we would be nowhere without Travis Hendricks or Glenn Lasoya, and that is a 100% fact.
It is. So all three of you guys do a great job, and we appreciate it.
Well,
so,
thank you.
Yeah.
Let's talk about athletics. We're transitioning from the fall season into the winter-spring season. What are your thoughts as we transition?
You know, it's just always looking for the future, and as we finished up with soccer and volleyball, I thought both those sports did really well. I thought our female athletics is on the rise, which when I first got on a few years back, that was something that I wanted to see increase, and was our success of our female sports. So that was important. I think, of course, with soccer, they hosting the tournament. That's obvious there, and talking with Troy. Volleyball might have been take a little bit more time, but this year I've seen that it's on the verge of having success. Annika Canema did well, and the whole team looks competitive. So we're excited about the future of those sports, and just transitioning from all the fall sports into the winter sport and basketball. So they're starting right around the corner.
You referenced volleyball, you referenced soccer. This past year, as we come to 2019 into the new year, reflect on this last year. We hosted a baseball conference tournament, before that a basketball conference tournament, a volleyball crossover after that. Sul Ross women's soccer team had a home playoff game. How has Sul Ross raised the bar when it's come to hosting playoffs, conference tournaments?
I think that's a goal of everybody's. Every one of our sports should want to host a championship on our campus. When we did it with basketball and then baseball in the same year, we discussed it. That might have been the first time that's ever happened. And then roll around in the fall, and soccer does it as well. So that's just where the bar was set a few years ago. We were it's all about progress and looking for the future of the program. So it's nothing that we didn't see coming. We felt like that we could have that kind of success, and it's just what we're looking now is continue that with that progress that we've made, and look for winning conference championships, not just hosting them on campus. But
so you say that was the end of your answer there. A bar has been set, so raising that bar even further is more conference championships, I'm guessing.
Well, that's what I would think. I've always said that we're just looking for progress, whatever that may be in that particular sport, and it's easy to see. And it's not just necessarily in the wins and losses. That's part of the progress, but it's not everything. So but every one of our sports we feel like have progressed for the most part. So and then the ones that weren't, maybe we feel like we made a few adjustments that we feel like those are going to start to progress as well. So I guess that's what setting the bar is. It's just when you're in that part of that progression period, and that's where it is at this point, hosting them now. And we need to start winning some, just like Cliff did with basketball, and that's the goal for sure.
We've interviewed men's and women's soccer coach Marquise Muse a couple of times. We saw what women's soccer did, getting a home playoff game for the first time ever. They've gone to the playoffs 3 straight times, and they're still young in this program. But even younger, obviously, is the men's soccer team, who, again, the record wasn't there. I believe it was 2-13, but I believe 8 of their ASC games were 1-goal losses, even for a first-year program. And Marquise Muse, Coach Muse, was very happy with what he saw. How did the department see the first year of men's soccer?
Well, I thought that was successful. I think Coach Muse thought they would be successful and maybe win more games. But as far as the athletic director, watching what he was able to bring in and see the young talent that he has, and they've never even played with each other. So I think they're on the verge of doing something special. And I think they see that. So it was for the first year, I don't think the expectation can be much higher than that. I thought they did really well. So I'm excited to see where the men's soccer program goes from this point forward. And I think everybody can kind of see the things you were talking about, how close all those matches were. So I think men's soccer has a chance to be really successful here in Alpine, and it's going to be exciting to follow.
Continuing a recap of 2018, Sul Ross softball, women's softball, they made the playoffs. It wasn't here, but they traveled. Head coach Troy Caneba also does volleyball as well. and you look record last year to this year, and it was a marked improvement, and the volleyball team was in playoff contention right until the last couple of matches. I mean, I think you guys hit a home run with Troy Cannibal.
I think so. We like to think we hit home runs with all of our coaches.
Absolutely.
I think they all are the type of coaches we need. They all are passionate about their sport and the athletes, and giving those athletes a good playing experience. So that's the key with all of our sports. But particularly here with Troy, I wouldn't be looking to combine softball and volleyball coach necessarily. But if there's somebody that could do that, I had pinpointed Troy Cannibal and be able to do that. So it's there's no doubt we hit a home run with Troy, and we're excited about seeing where all those sports, the softball and volleyball go. Troy was open about it and said volleyball was going to take a little longer than the softball, but in his year 2 leading into year 3, I can tell that they're young and they're eager for success, and they're right on the verge of that. So we're excited about next fall with volleyball. Yeah.
Now, looking at everything as a whole, obviously a small Division III school like Sul Ross, what are some of the biggest obstacles as an administrator for you when you work with, because money is, like a sugarcoat, money's always a hot button issue. So what are some of the things that you as an administrator do to ensure that you can compete while maintaining a workable budget?
That's always the challenge, because coaches, as much progress that we've made over the last 3 to 4 years, it's never going to be quite enough. We're always going to want the best of everything and make sure everything's perfect, and finance is a big part of that. So the biggest part that we have right now is we just, Dr. Kibler and the administration just hired Chris Clifford, which is our new Vice President of Finance. So I'm excited. I've already spoken with Chris a couple of times, so I'm excited about looking at ways that we can help us with the finances, and not necessarily increase in budget, but maybe there's things we can do within the department currently that's going to help our coaches and our sports be successful. So just having somebody with his experience and things is very important. So I'm excited that when he gets up on campus here in January full-time, and see if he can help us reach our goals. And no doubt the finances are a big part of that. So that's the biggest part of it right now. Just I'm looking at all of our budgets and seeing if we're being the most efficient with every dollar that we have. So that's kind of where we're at. But no doubt that it's a hot topic as always, and it is across the nation at any athletic department. So.
And as a coach, you can speak to this. A lot of the money can come from fundraisers. The basketball team did that golf outing and went out and got whole sponsors and other sponsorships, and they did a great job there. And that money goes right into their department. I'm sure baseball, volleyball, softball all do certain fundraisers, different fundraisers within the town to get some additional revenue for the programs, right?
Right, I think across the nation too, the fundraising piece is a big part of any athletic department. We are a smaller athletic department, and we only have 2 administrators, myself and Sandra Chambers, and so there's some challenges there, but we rely on the coaches to help with some of that fundraising. And a few years back, I set them up with an excellence account where each one of them had their own excellence account, and I'm a coach myself, so I understand having access to that and the use of that to help run my program is big. But all the sports are able to do that, and all the coaches do a good job with some fundraising. But there's also other things that we feel like we can do maybe in the department as we get going in the future, which is something else I'd like to talk to Chris Clifford about, and some ideas that we might have to increase revenue, because that's what it's about. But every dollar matters for sure. Yeah.
Another big issue when it comes to sports is the facilities, whether it be press boxes, dugouts, upgrading different things, whether it be sound equipment, what have you. And obviously, upgrading facilities ties into the budget. How important is it on a competition level to have these facilities upgraded when they need to be, and what's the process of that, of all that?
Well, first, you're right. The facilities are everything. So for recruiting, just for the most part, especially in Alpine, Texas, where we're at, we're asking these kids to come a long ways away from home, and I feel like our facilities are pretty good. We've made lots of changes over the last few years, but there's obviously other things we'd like to continue to work on. And the process is first identifying what those needs are. We love to have soccer and softball locker room. That's a large project, something that's probably going to take some time, but it's something that is in topic of conversations whenever meeting with administration and maybe donors or finding out other ways that we can do that. But so that's the large one. But we'd also like to have a jumbotron, I think, in Gallego Center and some other things. So first, you just identify with some of the needs of each facility, and then walking around those facilities with some administration and start trying to come up with a plan and a plan of action, try to address those facility issues. But overall, I think our facilities are pretty good, and they're still good enough to help with recruiting. But it's a big part of the recruiting process. So we like to have nice facilities for sure.
I want to talk about the administration a little bit. You got President Kibler, who, in my opinion, has been very all in on athletics the last couple of years from what I've seen. But again, it goes down the line with Sandra Chambers, a guy like Travis Hendricks, Glenn Lasoya, maintenance, everybody. Like when I sat down and met when we were talking about the basketball or the baseball tournaments, and everybody was in and going over this and that, and dotting I's and crossing T's. Everybody is all in, and it seems like the administration from the top down are behind athletics when it comes to all arrays of it.
Right, and that's very important. I think the leadership starts at the top and works its way down, and it doesn't start at the bottom at all. So it starts with Dr. Kibler, and athletics is a big part of the student experience, and I think he understands that. He comes from a student service background, so the experiences that our students have are big to Dr. Kibler, and you can tell that athletics is a big point for him to put an emphasis in. So we have all those meetings and things. So I think that's where everything starts. So it's encouraging to me on this side of it, and to all of our coaches, that we do have administration support. Of course, there's always challenges, but it doesn't. Those challenges are able to be met because of the importance of athletics on campus. So we're excited about being able to meet all the challenges that we still have and we'll continue to have. But we do. It starts with Dr. Kibler. So
staying on that, Dr. Kibler has sort of a 4 pillars of success, if you will. I might be paraphrasing on exactly what he calls it, but it includes integrity, academic success, competing for conference championships, and fan experience. I want you to speak to that.
Yeah. Well, number one is integrity. I mean, that makes a lot of sense, especially coming from the leadership at the very top. Compliance and the way we treat our athletes and treat our opponents and everything. Just having a lot of integrity. So NCAA compliance is a big part of that, and we're going to compete with integrity, and we're going to have that with all of our coaches and throughout the department. Academic success as a Division III institution, that's where everything starts with the academic side of it. We want these athletes to have success and graduate and go off and get good jobs and those type of things. So academic success is a big part of it, and then competing for championships, that's part of that progress we were talking about. I think we're getting closer to doing that throughout a lot of our sports. So and the last one is the fan experience and just experiences overall. I think athletics is such. I'm a believer in how important athletics is and the higher education and the learning experience. So just experiences overall with our student athletes and our fans. We'd like to put on a good event where they do have great experiences. So those 4 pillars makes a lot of sense to me. They something that he's talked about since day one when he got here and talked to the athletic department, and every year he meets with us and it's the same talk, but we can't hear it enough because they are all 4 important points that we can make a point of emphasis on throughout our department. So
And we're going to talk about baseball in a second, because obviously you're a coach as well as an athletic director. But you said it's SID Appreciation Week, is that right?
It is, yeah.
So I'd be remiss with these guys in the background sitting here watching, and what has transpired over the past year with Sul Ross Sports Network and the live stream and all the stuff that's been done for the conference championships and interviews and whatnot. You as an athletic director, what has been your experience and your thoughts over the past year that this live stream and this now dubbed Sul Ross Sports Network has done for the program and for the university?
It was all about, exposure, and any kind of exposure we have to Sul Ross athletics is good for the university. It's good for recruiting. It's good for everything. I've said it before. I feel like we have some of the best live video in any small college or university setting. There's nobody else that has as good as we do. So, and it's about people. I've learned that already in my young career as a leader and as an administrator, that it's the people you surround yourself with, and we've been very, very fortunate with the people we have surrounded ourselves with. So I always keep that in mind. Even though we are a small department, things can get done, but it really does take the passion and the effort of the people around you, and it's paying dividends, and will continue to pay dividends from years to come. So again, we appreciate everything. It's been great though.
I can't speak highly enough about Glenn and Travis and what they do behind the scenes and all that. None of this could be done without them.
Right, no, and 100%. Absolutely, 100%. So, and all of our coaches recognize that. They probably don't get as much appreciation, and they don't hear all the great things that people do say to us. I try to tell them, but I get text messages all the time from alumni that are watching the football game or a volleyball game or whatever it may be, and just how good the live video and the things are. So those are the kind of things that kind of you're not appreciated for, even though it's a SID week. But for the most part, we've had all positive experiences all the way through. So it's good for recruiting too. So it's so all of our recruits are able to keep up with Sul Ross Athletics and what you're doing in that particular sport. So it's something that was needed, and I'm excited about it, and continue to grow, because it seems like it's changing every year. So it's for the positive. So it's good.
Glenn, Travis, keep it up, guys.
Yeah.
Baseball. Okay, here we go. Baseball's coming down the pike now. I'm from New York. Our field isn't thawed until maybe April. We start in what, February?
February. So our assistant coach is from Ohio now, and then we have another assistant coach, and Tommy Zagan.
We're going to talk about that.
So
he knows.
They're from up north, so I can see why they come south, and they're out there in shorts on days like today, and it's not me. I'm out there in a jacket. So, but anyways, yeah, it's February. Baseball's right around the corner.
Crazy. Yeah. Great season last year. Hosted a conference championship. Obviously not where you wanted to be at the end of the year, but still, as a whole, one of the better seasons in a while. You lost some seniors, Jonathan Bigley, Coleman Ramsey,
Almager.
Yeah. Oh, that slipped my mind. I don't know. Slowly getting back into baseball. Yeah. Almager, among others. How are we looking this year?
It's hard to say. The fall went pretty good. We don't have a whole lot of time out there with them, but I thought that we have a good mix of returners with a good mix of young guys and transfers that I think that we could be competitive. I don't want to be so optimistic. We got a lot of work to do still, but I feel confident with the guys we have, and that they should feel confident. I think we played well against OC this fall, so I thought. I told them that all the pieces are there to win a conference championship, but there's so many things that got to go right, and there's still a lot of work to be done. So we'll see.
You've got 3 coaches with professional experience: Eli Gallego, Tommy Zagan, and Cody Remore. All of them, or Remore and Gallego, played for Sul Ross. They played in Coconut Field before being a professional. Tommy Zagan, a New Yorker by trade, played for the Cowboys last year, and then stuck around and is a coach as well. So they've all played on this field. They've all experienced it one way or another, and all 3 of them as professionals together on the same team from last year's Alpine Cowboy season. How imperative is that for you and the baseball program to have guys with that kind of experience?
Yeah, it's great. It gives our players somebody that they can go to and that they trust. I think that they trust all three of those guys because they have that professional experience and they understand what it takes to work and some things. So I think our guys automatically respect those kind of guys. And then bringing back Cody Remore, former player, and he's going to see it on the coaching side of it, but he's somebody who has our same values as a program and is able to incorporate that to in a coaching role. And then having Eli Gallego come back and be here, this is probably his third year with us, and he's going to be a heck of a coach one day, and he already is, but he's going to continue to get better every day, and somebody that I can respect as a former player and the things that he did. So coaching staff sets up right, and even though they're all young, but that professional experience will play dividends. So somebody that our guys can relate with. So
now you lost against some seniors, Bigley, Almager, Remore, Ramsey, but there's still a good core here. Ryan Acevedo is young. Wesley Moss in his senior year, right?
Right.
Okay, you're getting Chris York back from injury. He didn't play last year. Monty Maley, Aaron Marquez, among others. There's still a great squad here from last year going into 2019.
And that's the key, is trying to be able to where when you do lose guys, it's minimized because of the returners that you have back. So I think any coach is afraid when you're losing certain players in your lineup or a certain starter. But we've been fortunate enough to where they haven't really been noticed on those really good players, other than just being around and missing those guys. But they're not noticed as far as in the lineup or whatever it may be. Somebody else is going to step up, and so I think that's when you have a good program and kind of built where you can lose those type of players, and it's not a totally different type of season. So that's kind of what we have. I think some guys will step up and take those guys' spots on the field, and we always miss all of our seniors, but not as much on the field necessarily as one might think. So yeah, it should be fun this spring to kind of see who steps up in those places, but the pieces are there.
Any early outliers of people you've seen that are ready to step up? Because obviously you're going to have to fill a first base position in Almager. Someone is going to, because he was the everyday first baseman, someone is going to have to step into those shoes. Is there any outliers from any position anywhere? You lost your ace and Cody Remore. Are we going to see Aaron Marquez step into that role? What are we looking at?
I tried for first base. We have Jacob Ochoa. He probably had 50 or 60 at bats last year, and I was trying to spot play him because again I was looking for 2019 too. It wasn't just the 18 season, so I spot played Jacob Ochoa where I could. I thought he had a decent little freshman year and hit a few home runs, so he's capable of doing that. Had a good fall, so he's going to play first base for us as we start the spring. And then on the pitching staff wise, as far as ace or whatever that may be, we try not to give them a whole lot of roles right now, and roles will kind of come. So I don't know who's going to have start game 1, 2, or 3. We're just going to try to get a full staff together, and it may take everybody. But Aaron Marquez is somebody that is going to for sure chew up innings in whatever role he is in, and he brings that experience, and so we're excited about it. But and then there's young guys and transfers. We got Tim Johnson, a transfer that can play a little bit of third and first and DH, and good left-handed hitter. And then Chris York coming back from the hand. So again, there's we can roll out a team right now and be pretty successful. We just got to keep getting better and see those young guys who's going to step up there too. We got some freshmen that are pretty good as well. So it's just it's going to be interesting to see. So that's my job, to try to move the right pieces around and see what we end up with come the most important time, May.
Now, obviously, we're still 3 months away from the beginning of this season, but you've seen the guys somewhat. You know your returners, you know your young guys, and still learning, obviously, with 3 months away. What are early expectations for 18-19? Or, excuse me, just for 19. Excuse me, it's in 1 year. Baseball's that lovely sport where it's like the only one that decides to start and end in a calendar year. So what are the early expectations for 19?
Just we're going to be competitive and, just do what we do and try to stay away from the win-loss column. Tried to do that last year. I think we can get so caught up into the wins and losses, and then there's certain things in baseball you just can't control. So if you're trying to say that we're going to be a certain record or we're going to win every game to start the season, there's just things you can't control, and then we aren't reaching our goals. So our goals are to play good baseball and compete at a high level, and and come together as a group and be playing our best baseball come late. So that's kind of if we had any goals and expectations, is just play good baseball, get better every day, and be playing your best baseball come May. So.
Sul Ross head baseball coach and athletic director Bobby Mesker sitting down for a little baseball talk in November and a state of the athletics. Coach, thanks
Appreciate
again.
it, Derek. Appreciate it. Thanks.